called, obey, to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and mind, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity. The pledge, please. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend her unity and uphold her honor and glory. So help me God. Please be seated. Next on the program would be taking the welcome address by our chairman, NIA Lagos, Architect David Majekodumi. Here's a round of applause for him as he comes up.
First and foremost, sorry for the lateness. Devil is a liar. Now, while we're waiting for the strategic committee, I greet the NIA strategic committee, most especially the president, who happens to be my subject, though he's my president, he's our president, but I'm his Oga in Lagos. The president of NIA, Architect Eyin Benebo, FNIA, PNIA. The first vice president, the incoming president, Architect Mobolaji Adeneji, FNIA. The second vice president, Architect Sani Saulawa, FNIA. The third vice president, Architect Chioma Wogu, FNIA. The AGS, Architect Chike Chimbale, FNIA. The treasurer, Architect Mokhtar Mohammed, FNIA, and the rest members of the ESCO and the council. The fellows in the house, I recognized you, and the new fellows to be in the next few hours, I recognized you. My ESCO, my distinguished member of the chapter, you are highly recognized. And I would like to recognize some special member of the NIA that are in council that has been very supportive to this chapter. First and foremost, I'll start with the chairman of the Niger State chapter. Please, can you be up standing for recognition? The chairman of the Cross River State chapter is around. Can you be up standing? The chairman of Plateau State chapter, can you be up standing for recognition, please? The chairman of Osun State chapter, can you be up standing for recognition? The chairman of my neighbor, my childhood friend, the chairman of Oyo State chapter, can you be up standing for recognition, please? Likewise, your former chairman, the former Oyo State chapter chairman, the chairman of the first branch in NIA, Ikorodu branch, can you be up standing for recognition? While we're waiting for the rest, I specifically want to recognize the following fellows as well. First and foremost, starting with Auntie Tola. Architect Tola Okunboyejo, FNI. She's like a mother to us, even regardless of her age, regardless of being tired. No, sorry, of retired. She's not tired. She's been very supportive. And likewise, I have another sister, Architect Okuriboye, former AGS. She's always with us for anything we're doing in Lagos. Thank you very much for your support always. The chairman of Ikeja branch is not around. Also, I have another sister, which we all know, on whose footstep we are all trodden in Lagos State chapter. And that's the first female AGS of the Nigerian Institute of Architects and the first female chapter chairman of Lagos State chapter, Architect Abimbola Ajayi, FNI. I'd like to give recognition to Architect Otegbade, my childhood friend. Architect Otegbade, FNI, please be upstanding for recognition. Who is my old classmate and whom inspired me and encouraged me to come and serve. That's in the person of Architect Shodunke, a former vice chairman of this chapter. Please, if I haven't recognized you, I will do later. But please, there's someone here whom we're going to listen to today. And not only just giving him a round of applause, but please give him a standing ovation. Is someone, I won't take him as a lecturer, but I'll take him as a teacher of architects. There's someone I've worked with in the last 1 decade, ever since I met him. And anytime I go to him, he's like a father to us. Anytime I go to him, he's always obliging. Not only that, he brings all his students along to support. And not only that, I'm so proud to say his school, the student virtually wins most of our competition in the last 3 years. And he's going to be our speaker for today. He's no other than the Deputy Vice Chancellor of the Caleb University, Architect Daramola. Can you be upstanding? Could you give him, please, I want everybody to give him a standing ovation and a big round of, sit down, sir. And a rounding sound of applause, please. We are going to listen to him. He's our keynote speaker for this lecture. And you're going to hear a lot from him. Now, let me also let you know, we never used to have School of Architecture. But with the help and his ability and his courage and the grace of God, I remember when they were meeting with the NUC. But today, approval has been given to have School of Architecture. Not just, either you call it School or Faculty of Architecture. So where we have other architectural profession as a school. So round of applause for him, himself and his other mate like Professor Okedele, Professor Adiba Mowo. We thank you very much, sir. I'll start my address. At the inception of the Institute in 1960, the Nigerian Institute of Architects was inaugurated in Lagos, and until its location to Abuja in 2007. Sorry. I'd like to recognize the president, our president, and my subject. He's our president, he's my president, but he's my subject in Lagos State chapter. Yeah. Architect Eyin Benebo, FNIA. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and distinguished guests, welcome to a momentous occasion of our esteemed Lagos State chapter of the Nigerian Institute of Architects. Today, we are gathered to celebrate a remarkable journey, one filled with dedication, innovation, and unwavering commitment to the heart and science of architecture. Over the past 4 decades, we have witnessed transformation of skylines, the evolution of design, and the convergence of technology with creativity. Our institute has been at the forefront, shaping the architectural landscape, pushing boundaries, and redefining the way we envision and build our world. As we reflect on this journey, we honor the pioneers, most especially architect Michael Olutuse Onofwokon of blessed memory, the PPNIA, FNIA, the founding president of NIA, the first NIA president who hails from Lagos State, that is from Ikorodu, the first NIA LSE chairman, late His Royal Highness Dr. Architect Olawale Adisa Odeleye, PPNIA, FNIA, the Olowu of Owu-Egba, who laid the foundation, the visionaries who envisioned limitless possibilities, and practitioners who brought those visions to life. Each project we have undertaken tells a story of collaboration, expertise, and the pursuit of excellence. In celebrating our past, we also look eagerly to the future. The challenges and the opportunities ahead demand our collective wisdom, courage, and innovative spirit. Our chapter stands ready to embrace advancement in sustainable design, smart cities, and inclusive architecture, ensuring that we continue to play a pivotal role in shaping a better world for all. I extend my deepest gratitude to every member, past and present, for your dedication and hard work. Our success is a testament to the power of unity and the passion we all share for the profession of architecture. The theme for this 40th anniversary is 40 years and rejuvenating. Rejuvenating after 40 years can involve various aspects of life, such as health, relationship, personal growth. It's about finding balance, exploring new experiences, and nurturing aspects of your life to contribute to overall well-being and fulfillment. As this meaningful occasion coincides with the week of the World Habitat Day 2023, we come together to acknowledge the critical role of adequate housing and sustainable urban development in the lives of people across the globe. The WHD theme, that is the World Habitat Day theme for this year, is Harmonious City for a Sustainable Future. Underscore the urgent need to create urban spaces that balance the needs of humanity and the health of our planet. As we look around our cities, we are reminded of the challenges we face. From Bourgogne, it is our duty to address these challenges through thoughtful design and sustainable practices. Similarly, we gather to celebrate the World Architecture Day 2023, a day dedicated to honoring the art, science, and practice of architecture that shapes the world we live in. The World Architecture Day theme for this year, Architects Crafting a Sustainable Tomorrow, highlights the profound impact architects wield in creating a sustainable and resilient future. Our responsibility extends beyond designing beautiful structures. We are custodians of a sustainable legacy for generations to come. In this age of environmental challenges, the societal transformation, architects are at the forefront of pioneering innovative solutions. Our design must be harmonious blend of aesthetics, functionality, and sustainability, ensuring that every building is a testimony to responsible resource usage and environmental stewardship. Let us celebrate the passion and the dedication that architects across the globe put in their work.
shadow of the main body. With increase in membership and the creation of states, it became expedient to decentralize.
Hello? Okay, thank you. With the increase in membership and the creation of states, it became expedient to decentralize the activities of the main body, and thus, in 1983, architect Dr. Wale Odeleye, the then second vice president of the institute, was mandated by council to assist in reviving the Lagos State chapter. He became the chairman, assisted by his many younger colleagues who served in the executive committee at its maiden meeting venue at Arts Place, Alagomeji, Yaba. So I'll continue from this point later on in the program, but right now I would like to continue with our regular schedule, where I'll be inviting our president of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, Architect Eni Benebo, FNIA, to give us his opening speech. Please, a round of applause for him as he comes up.
Our chief host and chairman of the Lagos State chapter of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, Architect David Najekutumi, the first vice president and president-elect of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, Architect Mobolaji Adeniyi, the third vice president. I hope the second vice president is not somewhere. I can't see him. Okay, the third vice president of the Institute, Architect Choma Wogu Obona. Other members of council here present, fellows of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, my colleagues, members of the Lagos chapter of the Institute, other architects, maybe not members of the Lagos State chapter who are present here, distinguished guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this epoch-making event to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the Lagos State chapter of the Nigerian Institute of Architects. At the inception of the Institute in 1960, the Nigerian Institute of Architects was inaugurated in Lagos, and until its relocation to Abuja in 2007, Lagos has always hosted the national headquarters of the Institute. I recall with nostalgia the cute little white building at number 2 Idowu Taylor Street, with its complementary beautiful landscaping that used to house the Nigerian Institute of Architects. For those of you who were old enough at that time, you'd agree with me that that building really stood out within the landscape of Victoria Island. And when you entered that building, you wanted to be an architect because it symbolized the beauty of architecture. Today, a multi-story edifice, which has become the pride of all architects, now adorns the site and houses the Lagos State chapter amongst other occupants. Undoubtedly, the highest concentration of architects in Nigeria, Lagos has enjoyed the enviable position of Nigeria's commercial capital, and with it comes a high concentration of the upper and middle class segment of society, as well as even higher numbers of the lower class, which combine to fuel the demand for the services of architects. Coupled with its large population standing at the highest among cities in Africa, at more than double the population of Kinshasa and Cairo, its closest rival. The Lagos chapter is therefore the pride of the Institute. And I'm saying this because, I'm not saying this because I happen to be a member of the chapter and the past chairman of the chapter, but because it has been a trailblazer on several fronts. 40 years of the chapter's history cannot be written without mentioning the ups and downs the chapter has gone through in its growth. But like all success stories, the chapter is rolling out the drums today to celebrate 40 years of resilience, determination, and relevance in areas where it matters most. As we look forward to another 40 years and more, I wish to salute the men and women who have labored in years past to sustain and bring the chapter to this enviable level, as well as the present leadership on whose shoulders lie the responsibility of taking the chapter to the proverbial next level. I commend the current leadership spearheading the creation of 2 new branches of the chapter in a bid to bring the activities of the chapter to the doorstep of members, given the peculiar logistic challenges of the state. I wish to therefore use this medium. I wish I could have had the honor of witnessing the inauguration of the 3rd branch, which has been in gestation for a while now, before my tenure as president ends. I just wish wishes were horses, because with less than 2 months to go, it will be magic for the chapter to be able to inaugurate the, I think, is it the Festac branch or is it Festac or Badagry? Badagry. I'm just hearing of Badagry now. I didn't hear Badagry before. But at any rate, it is an effort that I should commend the present crop of leadership in the chapter for, because in their lifespan, they've been able to inaugurate 2 branches. And these 2 branches have been doing very well. And I know, yes, I can see the chairman of Ikorodu branch beaming with smiles, because of course, Ikorodu branch was the first of the branches, and ever since that branch was inaugurated, that branch has done quite a lot to further the cause of architects and architecture. And that branch is also lucky to host 1 or 2 universities. So it's a concentration of learning institutions within the chapter that also serves as an umbrella for the universities and institutions in that area to be able to be relevant. As we roll out the drums, I want us to know that there's still so much to be done. Lagos chapter has capacity to do much more than it is currently doing. And this celebration should be an impetus for the executive to extend the reach of the chapter to all the nooks and crannies of Lagos State. I'm hearing Badagry. I also want to see Ekpe coming on stream sometime soon. So on that note, and on behalf of the Executive Council of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, I wish the chapter well in its future endeavors. Long live the Lagos State chapter of the NIA. Long live the NIA. Long live Lagos State, and long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We are indeed very grateful and honored by your presence. I would like to recognize in our midst here a former permanent secretary of the Physical Planning and Urban Development of Lagos State, in the person of architect Dipe Folusho Adebayo. Also with us, all the way from the state of Osun, is architect Goki Omigbodu FNIA, who is an ex-official of the Institute, and he's a, permit me to speak Yoruba, we're in Lagos, Alagba Ijo, or what was the officer? Sma? Alufa. Okay, he's an elder in the church, if that will help our non-Yoruba speaking colleagues. A Reverend Father, okay, thank you very much, sir, for your presence. We're grateful. Taking us forward, I would like to invite a very special friend of the chapter, the chair, Niger State, who happens to be the GM, Niger State Urban Development Board, in person of architect Bako Ismail Mohammed, to give us a goodwill message.
Thank you. Mr. President, Nigerian Institute of Architects, Madam President-elect, NIA, the third VP, Architect Yoma, and council members here present. Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here to give this goodwill message. But before I say congratulations to this chapter, I think the chapter chairman didn't treat me as I was described by the MC, that the right-hand man, the friend of the Lagos State chapter chair. There's this saying that whenever you come to Lagos, in those days, the signboard you see at all the entry points into Lagos is, "This is Lagos." Meaning, as you enter Lagos, you are on your own. And that is exactly what has happened. No one has welcomed me into Lagos yet. Chair, have you welcomed me? You have not welcomed me the way you are supposed to welcome me. So I think I'm still on the page of "This is Lagos." So you struggle it out on your own. So I'm struggling it out. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Congratulations for attaining this age of 40 years of active participation in the activities of the Institute. My chapter, yes, I was thinking we're a baby, but from the histories that I've gathered, I'm sure by next year you'll also be coming to Niger State to celebrate our own 40 years anniversary, God willing. Lagos State, like the president rightly said, it's a very important chapter as far as this profession is concerned, considering so many things, especially number one, your number, and also the opportunities here for architects in Lagos. We envy you, and we look up to being strong and vibrant like your chapter in coming years. The opportunities here give you an edge over us, but with our own vision in my state by the present governor, I believe in a couple of years we'll catch up with you. Council members will be as witness. In the last 10 years, Niger State chapter has also becoming fast behind you. So very soon you will not be intimidating us with numbers again. Congratulations to you and congratulations to all your council members and the entire membership of NIA Lagos State Chapter. Wishing you many more years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair Niger State. And I must, at this junction, thank you for taking care of my son, Architect John Bauer. I believe he's somewhere around the corner. Yes, it's my son. John, can you stand up for recognition? Where's my son? Welcome. The chair said we did not welcome him. We have changed you. We don't say this is Lagos again. We say welcome to Lagos. Because if you look at your brochure on page 5, you will see Lagos. So we don't say this is Lagos again. We are friendly because of Mr. President, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We now say welcome to Lagos. Moving us forward. So Chair Niger, welcome to Lagos. I'm welcoming you in the presence of Mr. President and Madam President-elect. So you don't say we did not welcome you. We welcome you, sir, especially. We give you a round of applause too for coming. I would like to invite a special person, another friend of the charter, the Chair Plateau State, all the way from Chair Plateau, all the way from Jos. He's the MD CEO of Tolsega Consults and several other companies in the person of architect Olukoya Olusegun. A round of applause for him, please. To give us a goodwill message.
Thank you. My President, Architect Benebo, Madam Incoming President, our third Vice President, other members of council present and fellows, all my colleagues. I actually came to this event today and this time as a student. I have my notebook and everything, and I'm dressed as a student so that I can take notes. I didn't know I would be invited to come and give a goodwill message. I believe I'm a well-dressed student. Thank you very much. We rejoice with our host, Architect David Majadumi, Chair Lagos. We celebrate you and Lagos State Chapter on the occasion of your 40th anniversary. Lagos State Chapter is a chapter that many of us admire. So many chapters, quote and unquote, may not acknowledge, but I don't know of any other chapter that have branches or even a branch. You are a pace setter, and the position that you occupy is such that places a lot of demand on you. And like the worry man will say, don't fall our hand. Keep up the good work that you are doing. On behalf of Plateau State Chapter of the NIA, we congratulate you and we wish you the very best in your future strides. And those visions in your heart, even if you are not able to accomplish all of them, ensure that it becomes a vision that everyone buys into and it continues even when you are no longer the chair. So I trust that Lagos will continue to set the pace and we wish you the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. As you can see, we have quite a number of friends in the house that have come to celebrate with us for our 40th anniversary. So I would like to call on the chairman, NIA Oyo State. He is the principal partner, Akibest and Consult Limited, Ibadan. Please help me welcome architect Olufemi Lola Oyenekon.
Thank you very much. My president, the president of our revered institute, Nigerian Institute of Architects, the first vice and incoming president, my second and third vice president, all members of the council, all chapter chair present, all members of the College of Fellows, distinguished architects, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome us once again on behalf of our big brother and chapter, Nigerian Institute of Architects, Lagos State chapter, for this great celebration of 40th of our existence as chapter. I identify with Lagos State because Eko belongs to every one of us. Am I right? Until you want to fold my hand. All right. We're together and we've been together for a very long time. And I'm excited to be here to rejoice again with Lagos State. Architect David Majakodumi is a big brother. We've known for quite some numbers of years now. And I want to congratulate you especially for taking the Institute to the next level. And I appreciate the support of all the ESCOs. We also bring greetings from our chapter members who rejoice. They all knew that we were coming to rejoice with Lagos State chapter on the occasion of this 48th. I'm very sure very soon you will be coming down to Ibadan. Ibadan is is said to be the pace-setter state in our country. And of course, it's the first Western chapter. History recorded it that the first Western chapter of this great institute starts from Ibadan. We were actually running through the history while we got some feedback from some of our elders who were over 90 and still living, who said to us that by this time next year, Oyo State, the whole Western chapter, will be 60. And we're excited that it's coming at a time that we are on stage, and every one of us will also be invited to be a part of that great celebration. Once again, on behalf of myself, the entire ESCO of Oyo State chapter and the members, we say hearty congratulations to Lagos State. Keep the good work on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Moving on very quickly, we'll just take one more goodwill message. I would like to invite another friend of the house, I'd like to invite another friend of the house, architect Emmanuel Oladejo. He's the chairman of Osun State Chapter. A round of applause for him as he comes.
President, Nigeria Institute of Architects, first vice president, second vice president, my third vice president, fellows of institutes here present, my colleagues, all invited guests, press, ladies and gentlemen. Especially, I wish to congratulate Lagos chapter for this wonderful achievement. Achievement in the sense that you are not just 40, but you are 40 of a very great achievement. We felt your impact in NIA. Your position in NIA is a kind of exceptional one. No one play with Lagos chapter in any form. We respect your programs, especially LAV. We take you from Osun, we emulate you, and we respect. Please keep the ball rolling. And generally, here in Lagos, we know is like a place of architectural peaks. Anyone live in Nigeria that have not reached Lagos has not reached a place. Anyone visited Nigeria without being to Lagos has not visited Nigeria. Hope you agree with me. Meaning that we experience the work of great architects in Lagos. On this note, from our chapter, Osun chapter, we want to congratulate you especially. I want to advise that you keep the ball rolling in such a way we experience more and more in the time come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Moving on very quickly, we'll have one more goodwill message. I would like to invite the chairman of historically the first branch in the history of NIA. Architect Victor Achime, he's the chair, Ikorodu branch. Please, a round of applause for him as he comes up.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Greetings to my president, architect, Enyi Benebo, and the council members present. I want to stand on the existing protocol well led by the president so that I don't waste your time. I want to thank God for creating the Ikorodu branch, which is the first branch of the institute. I think that other branches other chapters should think of doing the same thing, because before we were created, architecture in Lagos State was limited to the metropolis. There was no cooperation from other suburbs. And with the creation, we have been able to do so many things. And whatever we did as a branch, I can say was done by the chapter. We were the first to remember our founding day when NIA was founded. It was celebrated 2 years ago, and every year we celebrate it now. And other professions make sure that there are branches all over the place, the NSC and so on, but architects are only in the cities. That is why we are not known by many people. Because at the site, they call us engineer, because nobody knows who we are. So I want to say that Lagos chapter, the Peseta, other people should follow them and take the architecture gospel to their different states and local governments. I come from Enugu State. From Enugu to Nsukka is a quite distance, and no people could not attend meeting from Nsukka to Enugu. If there was a branch there, I know that, and in our branch have been playing a very prominent role in our activities. So I want to thank God for this day, when we are celebrating 40 years as Lagos State. It's a big thing. God has really helped us. And also thank our president for his leadership role. He's a peacemaker, and I appreciate him. So please relax yourself and join us to celebrate. We are the daughter, I don't know what it's called, daughter or son. We are the first baby of the chapter. So join us as we celebrate this, our anniversary, and it shall be well with NIA in Jesus' name.
So yes, we have a firstborn, but we also have a secondborn. It's called the Ikeja branch. So for a quick goodwill message, I would like to invite the General Secretary, Architect Olayinka Olaiwola, on behalf of his branch chair. Please, a round of applause for him as he comes up to give us a goodwill message.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma. Good afternoon to the president, the Nigerian Institute of Architects, and all other ESCO. I'm also standing on the existing protocol. Thank you. I didn't see this coming, but I'm here now. Thank you. We're actually in Ikeja branch. This is the Ikeja branch. So I'm grateful that Ikeja branch is actually hosting this event, because Ikeja branch is actually is covering up about 8 local governments within Lagos State. And this particular area we are right now is within Ikeja branch. So we are in Ikeja branch. Welcome to Ikeja branch. I also want to use this medium to also congratulate the Nigerian Institute of Architects Lagos State chapter for this honor, because for creating these branches. You're bringing people like me to the stage. So I appreciate you for this honor. I also want to say I look forward to the next 40 years of sound and good health for the institute. I also look forward to seeing more people take active role in NIA. Thank you very much.
I hope we're having a good time. As much as we want to make our party professional, we also want to make sure that we're having a good time and well spent. Let's close up on the video message. To invite God Vice President to give the final goodwill. Since we have all the chapter chairs present, giving the goodwill message. Someone will give the last one, and then we invite the big fish in the house, the big lecturer, for the 40th anniversary immediately after this. So please get ready, sir. I know you'll be ready. You'll be here since about 9 a.m. and we apologize for keeping you. And we are looking forward to this lecture, sir. Thank you. Acting Chairman, please.
I think I deserve a more resounding round of applause. Thank you. Because, by the way, my name is Dr. Choma Wogo-Bunna, and I'm the chair of chairs, being the third vice president who oversees the chapters. I stand here to say I'm super excited to be celebrating with the Lagos State chapter on your 40th year anniversary. Sometime last year, I was in Kaduna to celebrate with them on their golden jubilee. I was in Uyo, Akwa Ibom sometime last year as well to celebrate their 30th jubilee. And Rivers is coming up soon for their 40th. So I will count myself as very lucky as the chair of chairs who have enjoyed the cooperation of all the chapter chairs. I'm super excited to be associated with you. I've had the cooperation of all the chapter chairs, and I want to say here that you have done so well. And you have made my work very easy. And I say huge and hearty congratulations to the Lagos chapter. And I know that every chapter will do well, as good as well as the Lagos chapter. I say a big congratulations to the Nigerian Institute of Architects. I say a big congratulations to NIA Lagos chapter. Congratulations on your 40th anniversary. Thank you.
I must apologize to the third vice president for forgetting the Ogbonna. So it is architect Choma Wogo-Bunna. That's the complete version, FNIA. Let us give her a round of applause one more time. Thank you for coming, ma. And I want to take it that your speech is to cover the second vice president's speech. Carry it, sir. Thank you very, very much, sir. Okay, quickly, about our guest lecturer, Professor Samuel Adediti Daramola, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, is the first professor of architecture with specialization on nomadic housing in the world. Please come over, sir. Come up, sir. Let's encourage him with a round of applause. He's a great supporter of our chapter. He even attends chapter meetings. So some of us here that are feeling that you don't need to come to chapter meetings, Professor still attends AGM, chapter AGM, BGM, and what have you. Welcome very much, sir. Thank you. I'll continue quickly. He was born on the 30th of June, 1962 in Ipe Akoko Southeast Local Government area of Ondo State, Nigeria. He had his primary education in St. John Mary's Demonstration School, Owo, and later proceeded to Owo High School for the West African Society in 1978. Prior to his appointment as the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Caleb University, Professor Daramola was the pioneer rector, Redeemers College of Technology and Management, Redemption Camp, Muri, Nigeria. The Dean of College of Environmental Science and Management, as well as the Dean of Student Affairs in Caleb University. Professor was a recipient of the prestigious World Bank Study Fellowship for a multidisciplinary doctoral research in University of Newcastle in the United Kingdom. He holds a National Diploma in Architecture in 1982 from the Polytechnic Owo, now Rufus-Giwa Polytechnic. He obtained both a Bachelor of Master's degree in Architecture from University of Jos in Nigeria in 1986 and 1988, respectively. He proceeded to University of Ilorin, Nigeria, where he had a Doctor of Philosophy degree in housing from the Department of Geography in 2003. Specifically, Professor Daramola specializes in nomadic architecture. I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, architects, fellows, full members, all cadres of architecture in NI Lagos State Chapter, Professor Samuel Adedeji Daramola.
The President, Nigeria Institute of Architects, our highly respected architect Ben Ebo, the Vice President and the Executive Council of the Nigeria Institute of Architects present here today, the members of the Governing Council, Nigeria Institute of Architects present here today, the Chairman, Nigeria Institute of Architects Lagos State Chapter, my friend, my brother, and my colleague, Architect David Mayekudumi, the Executive Council of Nigeria Institute of Architects Lagos State Chapter, our highly respected state chairmen from all over Nigeria, North, South, and West, past presidents of the Institute, past members of the Executive Council, my colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, nothing can be more glorious for you to be invited by your colleagues to present a paper or a lecture, and for your colleagues to sit down to listen to you. I will not take this for granted. I see this as a rare privilege and opportunity bestowed on me and the entire academia to be invited to make this presentation. On behalf of myself and the management and governance of Caleb University in Mota, Lagos, we want to say thank you for Nigerian Institute of Architects for granting this opportunity and for celebrating one of us. And I want to say that the Lord will help us to present this paper, and at the end of the day, we shall have every cause to benefit from it. Thank you very much, sir. The topic before me today, is captured architects, architecture, and the unspoken roles in a rejuvenating world. Which can be projected. Architects, architecture, and unspoken roles in a rejuvenating world. I want to start by describing rejuvenation. What do you mean by rejuvenation? Rejuvenation is a state of feeling restored, renewed, and ready to start a new life.
which continues beyond immediate participation in a mood of repair activities for a successful result, rejuvenating. In 2011, a team of researchers gathered together in North Carolina for a conference. And we discovered that government officials came into the hall and they said that hotel is a special hotel because it's LEED certified as a green building hotel. We were excited. We went in. I was privileged to be one of the people invited to give the lecture. Then I called my friend who was one of the organizers of that conference in US, North Carolina. I said, what is special about this building? He said, this building is allowed, the hotel is allowed to go on a tax holiday for about 10 years because he has created a green environment that calls for celebration and as such be certified. Ladies and gentlemen, what were the features of that building? There was cross ventilation, no lighting, artificial lighting was used. There was no need for ceiling fans, no air conditioner, and people entered the hotel, entered the space, sat down, and they never felt hot. And my brain began to work. So it means what we rejected in the tropics is being celebrated in the temperate because of the consciousness for order. So a green certified building, LED certified building, is a building that has the component of environmental sustainability, free movement of air, lack of no artificial lighting, cross ventilation, good illumination, and that was exactly what was celebrated. And I just discovered that until you understand what you have in architecture, you may not be able to possess your true value in the global rate. I want to start by telling you a few stories about the current network. China came on board recently and said it doesn't matter what technology any country or continent is running. It says China is outstanding in the area of fast delivery of construction. Fast delivery of construction. America is noted for discovery and technical advancement. But Dubai came up a few years ago and claimed to be the city with the tallest building in the world. China says we are not competing with anybody. Technology transfer, technical transfer is available. But we want to stand on the ground that we have the fastest technology to put up a building. And that is why you see them going about with specialized building components that could give room for accelerated construction. Where are we? Until an architect is identified or until an architect identifies his role in a rejuvenating world, that architect may not be able to attract to himself the quality that he deserves. Kindly permit me, Mr. President, and the Executive Council, and indeed the chapter ESCO, to redefine architecture this afternoon. What is an architect? Who is an architect? I want to define architects as an initiator, a body carrier who invents lines and manages space for human and global comfort. I come again. An architect is an initiator, a body carrier who invents lines I wish this can be projected, and managing space for human and global comfort. 3 things are stated here. An architect is a designer. I'm not describing an architect as a designer. An architect is good in managing space. I'm not designing architect as that. I'm looking as you as an architect, as an initiator of great and brilliant concept that is capable of providing results of comfort, global results on comfort, and your ability to manage space. Where are we? In a rejuvenating world, a team of researchers gathered together in a country called Sri Lanka in 2008. And precisely in University of Moratuwa, the architect professor, Uniplena, made an outstanding presentation in that meeting in 2008. What did he say? He said architects should be redefined to take the leadership position as initiators of idea, initiators of concept, and modular managers. I repeat, architects should be redefined as initiators of ideas, initiators of concept for the modification of our environment and the goodness of human comfort. He defined architects in Sri Lanka, University of Moratuwa, as catalysts for change and development. So an architect is an initiator, an architect is a catalyst for change and development. And finally, he said an architect is a cultural consolidator. I defined earlier that juvenation is a process whereby we restore our lost value, we renew our lost or weakened virtues, and we are ready to start afresh. The global economic recession has refused to be abated. In February 2023, academic lecturers in most United Kingdom universities, precisely the University of Manchester, were on strike. I was visiting the University of Manchester as a research scholar, and I discovered that they were on strike in demand for enhanced wages. Globally, there are trends that threaten the existence of the economy. The situation in Nigeria is a part of the global network, but Nigeria must devise a way of initiating concepts that will enable us to solve our problem. I'm going somewhere. University of Manchester went on strike, but this strategy they use is that they come to work on Mondays and one other day during the week. So if you choose Tuesday, then maybe you come again on Friday, but they were on strike. But the good news was that shortly after the strike, they were attended to and the university resumed fully. Their demands were met. Architects should please understand that the process of line drawing is a process that we inherited from our school days. But architecture of today, when we talk about rejuvenation, has transcended beyond line drawings. I am happy to, when I heard about the president of Nigeria Institute of Architects Plateau State chapter, and they were saying he's the managing director, the CEO of this company and group of companies. Architects should know that no other institution or professional is privileged, is created, is trained to provide initiations, provide leadership, identify goals than you. And that is where I want to take you through my story. In 2007, precisely, there was a meeting of the World Urban Forum in Vancouver, United States, in Canada, Vancouver in Canada, and a team of Nigerian government officials, mostly from the Federal Ministry of Urban Development Housing in Abuja, were in Vancouver. The program came up in the World Trade Center. And I was privileged to be there because I had a sponsorship from my university there, Covenant University. On arrival, the team leader from Nigeria happens to be the late Professor Akima Bogunje, who was then in charge of a lot of structure in Abuja under the Obasanjo government. And he came on the third day and summoned all the participants from Nigeria. And there he told them that that was going to be his last appearance in United Nations World Urban Forum, United Nations Habitat, and that he was disappointed that Nigerians have not made any positive impact or presentation. And there and there, I was privileged to receive the mantle from Professor Akima Bogunje, because for 4 days I was carrying his bag to his hotel. I was staying with him, and he was able to introduce me to those who were important to be meant in United Nations Habitat in 2007. And that was the last outing of Professor Akima Bogunje at the United Nations. In 2008, I was privileged to take up the mantle. And the first appearance was to bring a team of researchers, government parastatals in Ogun State. And we took them to the World Urban Forum in Nanjing in China in 2008. And we described and presented the good stories of Ogun State government. It was a brilliant outing. And ever since then, I was captured and recognized as one of the stakeholders of United Nations Habitat, an area that was not, as at that time, not popular with architects, but town planners and urban designers. In 2010, I was privileged to lead the team of of government parastatals from Lagos State government to United Nations Habitat in Rio de Janeiro. That was where the Oshodi resettlement scheme, the Oshodi rehabilitation project, was presented to United Nations in Rio de Janeiro under the World Urban Forum. 4 commissioners from Lagos State were on that team. I don't know whether you still remember Commissioner Francisco, I think Commissioner for Urban Planning or Abosede, he was on that team. But I was privileged because they came on the platform of my institute, Institute for Environment Research and Development. But Lagos State did the presentation. The presentation was done by Abosede, Commissioner Abosede, and this other woman in WAPA. Now she works with the government then. So they did the presentation. That project alone brought in so much financial comfort to our office. Today, we are looking at architects getting settled, getting restored, and getting vibrant outside the architectural lines, initiating concepts. And so much are waiting for architects to develop. In 2012, there was an advertisement by the United Nations Habitat looking for consultants to handle the structural plan of a place called Kogi State. Architect Bolu was on that team as one of the consultants. But I discovered that in the process of selection, no architect was found because the architects were involved in design and construction. If you are not able to get construction job, there is a structural plan which is an innovation of the United Nations Habitat that had just come on board and is governed and is regulated to come to precede the preparation of master plan. What does it mean? A structural plan can be led, the leadership can be an architect, because what's a structural plan? A structural plan is a projection into the needs of the country or the neighborhood within a period of time. And that projection will have to reflect the statistics of the community, the available facilities, available infrastructure,
and be able to project what the community will look like. And that project was a very successful one. It comes to precede the master plan. That is United Nations Habitat Standard. A structural plan must come ahead of a master plan. What am I talking about? 2021, it was announced that the city of Ikorodu happens to emerge as the 12th largest city in Nigeria, Ikorodu. And Lagos State is the only state that has 2 cities that emerge as cities because of the population. Ikorodu had a population of over 1 million, and that was recognized by United Nations. What does it mean? The Lagos State government awarded the design of the master plan of Ikorodu to a consortium, and the consortium are urban planners. But the truth of the matter is that in the process of this preparation of the master plan, they brought in architects, they brought in sociologists, they brought in town planners, they brought in statisticians. The truth is this: in the meeting that was held, a lot of contributions were expected from the aggregate of the architects. With Ikorodu as a new center, the 12th largest city in Nigeria, there is enormous opportunity for architects to take over. 1, you need to bring up your initiative ability to identify areas that needed to be accommodated and what are the things that we need to do. And this one is going to take us to the goals, what we call the global focus on architectural trend as defined by United Nations. Now, United Nations stated that there's going to be an assessment of architectural achievement in the year 2024, and there's going to be another assessment of architectural trend in 2030, and there's going to be an assessment of architectural trend in 2050. Now, you need to have an idea of where the world is going in your profession. In 2024, the global report states that outdoor living areas will gain prominence, and everybody designing outdoor recreation area will find its foot, will find its voice in global rating and assessment and proposal between now and 2024. That is a job. Architects will create seamless transition between indoor and outdoor areas. The global report says that whatever concept you are embarking on that has to do with the connection between the outdoor space and the indoor space is going to grant you research grants. Proposals will be supported and global recognition will be granted. It said there's going to be an advantage given to outdoor spaces to promote social interaction, relaxation, and deeper connection with nature. 2030, the global focus says on architecture. In 2030, the global mission is to see a rapidly transformed built environment. Now, after doing the interconnectivity between the outdoor and the indoor space, we are looking at courtier concept of design. He said in 2030, there's going to be a transformation in the built environment, and we are going to look at the major emitter of greenhouse gases to the central solution to the climate emergency. You will remember that the United Nations Assembly that had just ended, where our president was there and made that historic pronouncement and speech. They were discussing the climatic change. We have a number of countries in the world, but just about 3 or 4 are the major culprits of global warming. We are talking of the country of China, which is a major culprit. We are talking about America, which is another major culprit. That they release so much gas that comes down to Africa and will make us to pay the price. They created the problem. The atmosphere is congested. the overheating system comes over because there is no barrier in the atmosphere. When a plane takes off from Nigeria and is going to China or is going to Australia, there is no checkpoint in the air. It's moving. So any pollution to the atmosphere has the capacity of going across the world. And if you want to kill the whole world, pollute the atmosphere, and the whole world will be off. The Global Focus says in 2050, at the recent International Union of Architects, the World Congress, it identified that 1.3 million architects in 124 countries worldwide adopted this imperative to declare that carbon dioxide emission in the built environment must be eradicated by 2050. Now, Global Focus has made a pronouncement. Our own union, International Union of Architects, UIA, has supported it. What are we talking about? Every community has the opportunity of developing its own skill. And until we get to that level, we will not be able to know what are the things we need to look at. The UIA just completed the Congress in July, and they came out with 5 key points that we need to understand for us to be relevant both locally and internationally. For instance, when I was talking about Ikorodu, any proposal that has anybody or any firm that initiates a green belt zone in Ikorodu, we draw the attention of Lagos State government, and if it does not draw the attention of Lagos State government, we will escalate it to United Nations, especially as United Nations Habitat, for recognition and for sponsorship. Now, UIA made 5 major point agenda, and most of the agenda was in the speech of my chairman. I call him Dr. David Mayekodumi. It says, resilience in design community. Resilience in design community. What he's saying is this: every community must be preserved against external aggression, geographically, climatically, and whatsoever. So we are looking at design now that will shield your environment. And the best design you can do is inculcating green belt zone, greeneries into our homes and our design. And that will make us fall in place with the UIA agenda for resilience in design community. UIA is also saying something about all-inclusive architecture. What does it mean? Any architectural concept must bear the community in mind. Around 10 o'clock in the evening of June 10, 2010, we received a call in Rio de Janeiro that we needed to go with the mayor of the city of Guarulhos. City of Guarulhos is not far from Rio. And we got there around 10:15 in the night. We wanted to find out exactly what was happening. And the mayor, who happens to be one of the people invited by Lagos State government for his presentation, said there was what they call a community meeting, that all the members, the agberos, the organizers, representatives, the market women, they gather at 10 o'clock in the night. Why? They needed to make a presentation on the proposed social plan that was about to uplift the city of Guarulhos. We are looking at everybody's contribution as an inclusive architecture. We have climatic challenges and design adaptation. UIA, United International Union of Architects, stated that every design should take cognizance of climatic challenges, design and adaptation. Flooding is everywhere. Thank God we have flooding around some parts of Lagos. Those days, you buy land in Banana Island and you think you are at rest. Today, you needed to build 2-story building. One floor to be allowed to be flooded. And the other one, you need a canoe to drive. Why? Because we did not envisage or have a foresight of where it was going. I want to say that UIA 5th point is talking about rethinking design resources. And that's why I want to celebrate Lagos State chapter for initiating the timber design architecture, whereby we are looking at how do we now bring in timber as one of our major design elements in our understood it. I've spoken about UN Habitat Urban Agenda, which says that master plan is a master plan, but a structural plan is preferable to master plan. We are looking at ensuring carbon-free society. We are looking at natural ecosystem. We are looking at collaborating and lobbying for change. And we are looking at innovative design. I want to say again, architecture has gone beyond the built environment. My president, sir, they say architecture is in the built environment. But I want to say, my president, that there are no money in built environment again, because we now have what we call the concept of governed and ungoverned space. Governed space, the whole of Lagos State is governed space. But there is a space we call the ungoverned space. The ungoverned space happens to be one of the critical areas that architects can begin to think about and make a living. In September 11, we have a crisis in America that brought in the attack on the World Trade Center, the plane hijack, and the building collapse. But two things happened before the building collapse. They traced the attackers of September 9/11 crisis to the ungoverned space in Africa. What is an ungoverned space? An ungoverned space is a location where there is no defined ownership. When you are traveling and you get to Lagos, as you move from Lagos to Ogun State, we call it a city in perpetuity, in continuity. You will not know when you are leaving Lagos State and you are entering Ogun State. That is not what we have in ungoverned space. Ungoverned space is that you get to a place and continuously you drive and you keep on driving without ownership. Development doesn't go to that area, and those are the areas that bandits and armed robbers, they locate. So we are looking at what do we do to make suggestions to the government in the areas of ungoverned space. When we look at Zamfara, when we look at Sambisa Forest, Sambisa Forest is not a wasted forest. Now, the African Development Bank has concluded an arrangement to establish a special agro-processing zone. And what it simply means is this: we receive a call inviting us to a meeting in Abuja to take a decision about the special agricultural processing zone to be sited in Cross River State. And the business was going on. I discovered that a number of people that were in that meeting, they were relying on my concept to guide them in the proposition. We have agriculturists. But how do we allocate spaces? How do we marshal and move within that processing zone? The architects as initiators has the opportunity of identifying those areas and be able to gain an extra edge to support the work. Sambisa Forest may look as a bad thing, but I want to say that Sambisa Forest was a legacy handed over to this government by the British colony in 1958. Sambisa Forest was a reserve and gazetted under the conservation legacies bequeathed to Nigeria by the colonial power. And in 1977, the area was gazetted as National Game Reserve for the preservation of rare animals. Can I come home? I happen to be a professor of nomadic architecture, not because I choose to be, but because I found myself posted to Yola in Gongola State, and each time I move about, I saw the nomads and I saw the Fulanis. I became interested. And when I was writing my PhD thesis, I concluded that I was going to write on the Fulani nomads. Little did I know that I was the only one carrying out a study of nomadic housing scheme around the world in 1992 when I started my PhD. I got to United Kingdom, University of Newcastle upon time. I made my presentation. My supervisor read my thesis. He could not correct anything on the thesis because it was a new area. Now, until architects begin to initiate ideas, you may not be able to get your recognition. We discover on the day of my PhD defense, the external examiner came around and concluded that my topic was self-contradictory and that the next thing is that I should fail the viva. And I told him, why are you concluding that the nomads don't need houses? He said, because the name nomads simply means no need for housing. And I said, look, empirical study, pilot study has revealed that the nomads are tired of moving about because of global warming, because of attack, because of desert encroachment. And I submitted the report. Thank you very much. That silenced my external examiner. I would have failed the PhD program if I have not been able to go extra mile to be a part of the nomads. Today, I got to University of Newcastle upon time after about 20 years of living. And the university came to welcome me. Do you know why they welcome me? They say, meet a professor of nomadic architecture, the first of his kind. Every architect has creative ability to move into Sambisa, to move into the forest zone, to make suggestions about the agro-alike form, so that the government can know that you are the one that's providing the solution. Let me just round up. I want to say that such challenges in life will bring in innovation, and innovation will bring in transformation, and transformation will bring in greatness. Nigeria Institute of Architects has over the years, especially with the past 2 years that I followed them, have been able to advance globally. And the ability of the leadership of the institute at the national level to disseminate this information, because I wake up in the morning, I see a lot of information on my platform, simply because we are aware. I want to say that this administration has gone a long way in making strong impact, not only in in UIA, but also in several other platforms. And I want to celebrate you, sir. But one thing I will say, anytime you go like that, go with 1 or 2 students or 1 or 2 architects. They will pay. If they cannot pay, sir, we can raise up the sponsorship for them to go. Why? Today, by the grace of God, United Nations, we call it Urban Agenda Partner. And that means whenever United Nations Habitat is having a meeting, they will send ticket to me and sponsor my trip. Mr. President, I did not get to that level by fiat. Professor Akima Bogunje handed me over to that system. Your position and the status of your office, the global recognition that the Nigerian Institute of Architects has, is enough for us to take off from there. A president moving about with a young man or woman follow him about is a way of handing over the mantle for that sector. I want to celebrate the leadership of our association, of our profession, and I want to thank you for the privilege of counting me worthy among the numerous architects to be considered as a fellow. Somebody looked at me and said, we thought you had been a fellow for many years. I said, no, I was not one. But it's a privilege for me to be invited as a fellow. And I want to say thank you very much, and the Almighty God will bless you in Jesus' name. Let me round up by telling you about special agro-industrial processing zone. It's a money-spinning project organized by the African Development Bank. Do not be deceived. They cannot take off without you. Architects should find its way. We have one in Oyo State. 5 geographical locations are being marked, and the fund has been released for that project. Now, if you look at special agro-industrial zone, what are we talking about? You say, what is this architect saying about agriculture? We have better knowledge of managing the farm than the agriculturist. In Vietnam, 60% of GDP came out of agricultural industrial park. In South Korea, They have 900 industrial zones. Industrial zone. What does it mean? If you plant cassava, your cassava will never leave that zone until it is processed and finalized and packaged and exported to Belgium. A situation whereby you have oil produced in Nigeria and you fly it over to another country to get petrol is a destruction to the economy. It's a destruction to the economy. So the architects are involved. What is architects? Architects are initiators, brilliant ideas. They are jack of all trades, master of design. But now we are saying they should apply that knowledge of the jack of all trades to bring forth the best for our country. Mr. President, the chairman of Nigerians of Architects Lagos State Chapter, I want to say thank you for this opportunity, and it is a privilege to have this short presentation. Thank you very much. I don't waste time.
Please continue with the round of applause as he gets to his seat, please. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. As we move on very quickly with the program, before we're going to actually have a deliberation, a panel discussion of the lecture in a few minutes. But before we take that, I would like to invite one of our friends of the house as well and major supporter. We'll have Abuja chapter represented in the person architect Agatha Christie Irabo. She's the practice subcommittee chair. And representing the Abuja chapter chair, she's also the CEO, Besse Plannings, and COO, Ned's Reality. Please, a round of applause for her as she comes up. She's giving us a...
Thank you very much. Permit me to stand on existing protocols. I'm standing on behalf of my chapter chair, the Abuja chapter, and also a past president. He asked me to send his goodwill to the Lagos State chapter in the person of architect Ibrahim Haruna. He asked me in these particular words to say that he's a friend and a member of the Lagos State chapter, and it would have been his pleasure to be here with you. But because there's another anniversary in the northern part of the country where he was instrumental to forming when he was the president of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, and he has to be there, you know. So without wasting much time, I'm going to read what my chapter chair had put in. The NIA Abuja chapter facilitates with the NIA Lagos State chapter. You can find that, you can find the congratulatory message on page 100 of the brochure. Facilitates with the Lagos State chapter at 40. On behalf of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, Abuja chapter, I want to extend my warmest congratulations to the Nigerian Institute of Architects, Lagos State chapter, on the 40th anniversary. Your chapter has been a pioneer in promoting the practice of architecture in all spheres, and we are proud to have had the opportunity to work with you. The cohesive team of dedicated executive and friendly membership are a testament to the success you have achieved. Your advocacy and service have had a positive impact on countless lives in Lagos State community, and your commitment to the well-being of the public is greatly appreciated. We are honored to have partnered with you and value every opportunity to work together towards the progress of our communities and the architecture profession. Congratulations once again on this remarkable achievement, and we wish you many more years of continued success. happy 40th anniversary. And before I go, my chapter chair also asked me to, we also in the next 1 year or so, next year, we'll be having a similar event. And we hope that Lagos chapter would play an important role in it. And I also want to say that Lagos State chapter, everybody is saying it's a pace setter. I think Abuja is more of a pace setter than Lagos State chapter. Yeah, I'll tell you why. When I walked into the hall today and we were doing our registrations, I noticed pieces of papers and we are talking of sustainability and all of that. Professor has stood here and talked about a lot of things. In our Abuja chapter, I will tell you that we don't do any paperwork. Everything we do, it's online. When you get to any of our chapter events, you register online. Everything, we don't do this anymore. So everything we do is an online chapter. So I think we are leading the team in that aspect. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Please, a round of applause for her as she steps up. So very quickly, we'll go straight to the panel discussion for the lecture. I would like to invite a few people that would coordinate that panel discussion with us. First and foremost, I would like to call up to the stage where we would have the panel discussion our second vice president of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, Architect Sani Saulawa, FNIA. Please, a round of applause for him as he comes up. Please keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping. You're welcome, sir. Would also like to come up to the stage our former HGS architect, Mo. Please, can you come up? She's also FNI architect, Moradike Okoriboye. A round of applause for her as she comes up, please. Our third panelist, by no means the least on this stage, our friend of the house, the General Secretary for Niger State, Architect John Bauer. Please, a round of applause for him as he comes up.
All right, thank you very much. We've had a very brilliant presentation, an eye-opener. It has given us an idea as architects to be able to conquer new horizons. I would invite my panelists here. We will try also to make it an all-inclusive engagement with the audience as well. Let me start by inviting Architect Mo to give us an insight of how the presentation has impacted you this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my Vice President. Every time I come into gatherings like this, I marvel at the professors, because I don't think I've ever been disappointed about why any particular person is called a professor. And this one, I was intrigued when I had that is a professor of nomadic architecture, because I had to ask myself that, what is that in the first instance? But, when you look at all the things that he had talked about, it just shows how much that architecture profession has evolved. And I think one of the things that he had pointed us to is how we must, of necessity, occupy that space for sustainability. And it goes in every kind of direction, including, evolving new materials, evolving new technologies, evolving new ideas about how materials and technology can be put together. We can affect the way people live. We can affect the way people come together, to call themselves, a community. We can affect the way social organizations, how they form. And I think these are the sorts of things that my dear professor has talked about. And I can just imagine the sorts of things that are available, kind of not just opportunities, but things that we can find when we begin to go into those spaces that are hitherto, been left ungoverned, like he said. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, you've just set another tone now. Architect John, the professor did made mention of the governed and ungoverned spaces. What's your take on that?
Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity. And yes, Second Vice President. Thank you, Professor Daramola. This, for me, was like listening to the gospel of architecture, that is the New Testament of modern architecture. I saw Professor speaking with a lot of passion and vigor, and sincerely, sir, it drives home what we have always known as architects, but coming with new normal, new definition, new term, and his so much emphasis on architects being initiators cannot be overemphasized. And on your question directly about the governed and ungoverned spaces, sincerely so, sir. Most often than not, you find architects struggling only within the governed spaces where we want to make relevant what we have always known. And it's as if it's a competition that is unending. But however, Professor has been so benevolent to introduce us to the ungoverned spaces that we are all passing in our landscapes and almost doing nothing about, and nearly not even thinking about. But what he has brought to bear is a new normal where you can go and see how you can dominate, how you can go and play around with these ungoverned spaces and see places like recreational centers, places like holiday homes, places like reserves and all such things, where we can have this vast landscape to go and display our talents. So for me, these ungoverned spaces should be things that we should look at very critically. And thank God he is a professor and the Vice Chancellor Academics. Why not even introduce some of this new normal into our curriculum, where even the students will begin to think about some of these ungoverned spaces and begin to brainstorm, carry out case studies, how others around developed clients have developed their ungoverned spaces. And then let's begin to do some brainworks and innovations around these ungoverned spaces. Thank you, Mr. Second Vice President.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Like I've said, I would want to make it an open interactive session. Permit me to call on Architect Gokie Omigodun. The professor in his submission made mention of how important the strategic plan is to the urban plan. So if you can, please, you are sitting behind me and we were having a tete-a-tete. If you can just shed more light on the strategic plan versus the urban plan in our environment, please.
My second vice president, I'm sure you just pounced on me because you saw that I stood up and you thought I wanted to escape. I just wanted to go and use the loo, but now you've put me in trouble. If I know anything about architecture, I must be an unconfirmed professor of village architecture. In any case, speaking about the structural plan and the urban plan, I was just whispering to the third vice president, who happens to be an estate surveyor and valuer like me, because by coincidence, the two of us are architects, and she is also an estate surveyor and valuer like me. And I thought, oh, well, this thing that you are talking about is something that we can all be involved in, whether as architects or estate surveyors and valuers. For me, in my case, and perhaps because of the state that I come from, I don't know whether that still manages to happen in a place like Lagos. The town planner wants to do everything. And so the town planner, positions himself to want to be in charge of everything. We have had situations in my state where the town planner made the architectural drawing, the structural drawing, everything. I'm sorry, sir, Prof. This person, a professor of town planning, of course, the building collapsed. And because I would always talk about it, I mean, it's like they see it as a battle, a personal battle for me, but I always remind them, my wife also read urban and regional planning, but we must recognize that there are interfaces in all professions, and there are ways of cooperation where we can all together get things better done. So that's just my position. But since you allowed me to have the microphone, let me also just steal 1 second to congratulate Lagos chapter and to say that I am happy to be back home because I started in Lagos chapter and got registered as an architect from Lagos chapter. So God bless you.
As you can see, it's not just trying to put you on the spot. I know how comfortable you are with your chapter. Thank you very much for that. Architect Mo, the nomadic architecture. The professor did present an angle with reference to the nomadic pastorers. And it got me thinking, can't we expand that to like create some rest stops? Because I know such kind of rest stops obtain in other parts of the country, especially when you embark on road trips. Linking that with the nomadic concept as the professor has expounded. is there any possibility that architects can look at our road network, vis-a-vis road trips, and try to come up with concepts and schemes that will look at the general traveling pattern and link it with this nomadic architecture and come up with some rest stops and what have you? Is there any potential to be explored as architects?
Thank you, sir. I had an experience about roughly 23 years ago. Then I was working with ABDT Partnership, and we had a project, the UB Primary School, that was built all across the nation. Now, it was so interesting that part of the schools that we were supposed to be building across the country were for the nomads. We fortunately straitjacket ourselves, without, let me just put it as simply as that, we straitjacket ourselves, and then we don't therefore allow ourselves, to get really creative with the things that we need to provide. Now, yes, it is true that on that project, I mean, this is like an assessment of what we had done like 20 years ago. On that project, there was a prototype that was supposed to be put in all over the place. But perhaps if we had, thought better, maybe we would have been able to provide, well, the structure, so to say, that was more acceptable to these nomads. Because what we discovered was that before that project was over, they had taken down the buildings that we had put there. They were not interested in those sorts of things, because the truth was that their lifestyle was completely different from the lifestyle of the guys who were in town. So this, therefore, is something for us to begin to think about. I think it is necessary for us to study better our environment and the peoples that we work with. And to be honest, I'm confessing that that particular project for the nomads was a complete failure. But we didn't look at, the more critical things that we ought to have done for those nomads. And I think this is an avenue for us to begin to think about all that. Look at, recently he did mention something about that Lagos State chapter was looking at these new materials. Can we even look at the materials we have always worked with and figure how to use them in more sustainable ways? I was talking to my daughter who is an engineer, and she was saying that, you want to be doing this timber buildings. I said, no, it's not just timber, it is mass timber. And she said, then so what do you do about fire? I said, but do you know that mass timber does not burn? Now, I wonder how many of us are here and somebody will present such a material, and the first thing we're also not thinking about is that timber will burn. You understand? But then there are better things that have been done to the same materials that we have used over the years, that these are the things that we need to begin to investigate, how that we can, turn around or we can, rethink the same materials, the same, things that are at our disposal, but to put them together in different ways so that they are actually relevant to the people who need to use them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We need to round this session up. Architect John, please, in 1 minute, what's your take home from the lectures?
Okay, for me, this lecture will go with me to Niger State for a long time, and luckily enough for me, I am also rounding up my PhD. But however, I am getting a lot of vital points from this that can help me also work on some research and produce papers. I have noted about 7 distinct points from this lecture that includes: 1, environmental sustainability is a major highlight of this study, where architects can design buildings that are energy effective, use materials that are sustainable, and incorporate green technology, where he was talking about the hotel that was LEED certified. Number 2, we can create community well-being by our designs. Thoughtful architecture can shape communities by promoting social interactions. Number 3, and very passionate to me as a Gbagi man, is cultural preservation, where architects can preserve our cultural heritage by our designs and by restoring historic structures with our designs. Number 4, and very important, is health and wellness. Architecture can influence human health and well-being. 5 is the urban renewal that he kept hammering on, where the urban areas, architects can revitalize neglected neighborhood buildings through adaptive reuse of old buildings, right? Mixed-use development and innovative urban planning. Number 6 is, I think, one word that he echoed the most, which is resilience. That is, architects can design structures that are resilient to natural disasters and climate change. And finally, number 7, it's a word that we have been taught right from school, and we must never forget: innovation. Architects are at the forefront of innovation in construction technology and materials. Thank you so very much, Professor, for this opportunity and for this lecture. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. On a final note, I wouldn't want to skip one of the most important issue that was put forward by the professor. That is the issue of using the position of the institute to garner the international sponsorships for architects, African Development Bank, and such other international donor agencies that we can capitalize on. I'm sure the president has a space in the program that he will make general remarks, but might permit me to invite our incoming president to just say a few words on the opportunity as highlighted by the professor. The first vice president, ma'am.
Thank you very much, second vice. Professor Daramola, thank you very much for that very brilliant lecture. And I want to thank you particularly for showing us that as an institute, we really haven't been positioning ourselves well enough to be able to get the kind of support internationally that we should be getting. But I'm proud to say that this particular tenure of our president, we were really very much on the international scene. And thank you for clapping for the president. Everywhere we went, the Nigerian Institute of Architects was very well celebrated. As a matter of fact, in UIA, at the conference in Copenhagen, we had probably one of the largest contingents at the event. And this was noted, not only that we brought the numbers, but we had our architects presenting, we had our students winning prizes. So we are very much on the international scene now. So what to do next is to now, use this platform to take it to the next level. Let them see that the Nigerian architects, are doing something new, like the professor of nomadic architecture, first in the whole world. We are now, projecting Afrocentric architecture, and we're going to be doing it at a level that we're going to be called for, and we're going to be sponsored by international agencies. So I want to assure you that by the grace of God, taking off from where the president has left, I will be stepping up in that position to make sure that our international relationships will be at the next level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. On a final note, I would want the chapter chair, Lagos, to give us a few words on his take, and then we close it up.
Yeah, thank you very much, discussant. On this note, I want to recognize some people because Professor Daramola mentioned one of the things we've been working together with, and that is looking to the future and looking at what is happening globally. He talked about mass timber construction. On this note, Architect Moradike, please be upstanding. Architect Abimbola Ajayi, please be upstanding. Architect Bosse, please be upstanding. Architect Biodun Fatuyi, please be upstanding. For the past 6 months, the people that I've called to be upstanding, we've been doing a lot of work. Sorry, Architect Ebenezer Odeyale, please, where are you? Please be upstanding. And where are you, Architect Ebenezer Odeyale? Yes, please come forward here. Come to the front here. You know, it's not an easy task. We do a lot of research, and we're seeing the way to carry architecture forward. Professor Daramola, sir, Emma Binu, please be upstanding. And when we talk of the professors in this program, the likes of Professor Okidili, Dr. Fakolade are in this group. There's been about 5 series of webinar, and the 6th one is coming up next week. Tomorrow, it's coming up tomorrow. And I'll indulge you, please tapping into this, because Professor Daramola not only been part of this caucus of trying to promote mass timber construction in Nigeria, even we're looking at doing a model in the likes of Caleb University and in the likes of Anchor University. And I'm most pleased, I want you to appreciate them, because when he was talking, he's talking about the nomadic architecture. We're talking of green revolution. We're talking of sustainability. And if we can have a 10-story building, timber construction, 35 story, 25 solely timber construction, and where it is in East Africa, Zanzibar, why can't it happen in Nigeria? The question also, we talk about the afforestation. We have the resources, but we are wasting it. So please, I give a kudos to this group, to this caucus group who has initiated and still working on mass timber construction in Nigeria. Thank you very much. And Professor Daramola, I must say, that was a wonderful paper, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. So with that announcement, I have to bring an end to this discussion. Thank you very much, Architect Moradike. Thank you very much, Architect John Bauer. The discussion continues on all our architecture platforms. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sirs. Thank you very much, ma'am. In order for us to, we're approaching the end of the program, but just before we go, please, if you have any questions for the professor, please just take it down, write it down, include your phone number and your email. You can pass it to any of the ushers, or, I mean, if you see me after the program, please just take it down and then we'll get it across to the professor and we'll get an answer back for you. Very quickly, we would like to call up the chairman LOC and our vice chair for the closing remarks, Architect Abiodun Fatuyi. Please, a round of applause for him.
Mr. President, President-elect, distinguished members of the Executive Council of NIA here present, Chairman, Nigerian Institute of Architects, Lagos State Chapter, and all members of the schools of NILSC, chairman of other chapters here present, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, and distinguished guests. I would like to thank you all for your time here. Lagos, they say, is for everybody. Because in Lagos, you find every tribe, you find every language, you find every culture here in Lagos. So it gives us that ability to welcome everybody. It's my honor to say a very big thank you to you all for joining us to celebrate this 40 years anniversary of our esteemed chapter. Today, we are gathering and we've gathered to celebrate a remarkable journey, one filled with dedication, innovation, and unwavering commitment to the arts and science of architecture. Also, a big thank you to those that are online. Online, we have 17 people on Zoom and about 11 on YouTube watching, adding to the number that is seated in the hall. We thank you very much for attending this lecture, and we can assure you that the day is not yet over. This is just the first part. The second part will be starting up at exactly 4 p.m. And between then, we can have our lunch. It's in the special bag that has been given to you. While we wait, we'll ask you to please use the seating on the left and on the right so that we can rearrange this part of the hall for the second part of the anniversary dinner and investiture of new fellows. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.